Trains once had to stop every few miles, so workers could hand-apply grease to the hottest moving parts, wasting time, money, and sometimes lives. A black engineer named Elijah McCoy changed that by designing a device that fed oil to the engine while it was running, which made trains faster, safer, and more reliable. You may have heard people say the real McCoy. Whether or not the phrase began with him, the invention and its impact are unquestionably real. Elijah McCoy was born in 1844 in Colchester, Ontario, to parents who had escaped slavery through the Underground Railroad, and as a teenager, he studied mechanical engineering in Scotland, an opportunity few black students could access in that era. When he returned to North America, American railroads would not hire him as an engineer despite his training. So he took work as a fireman and oiler, shoveling coal and lubricating parts while carefully watching how machines failed in real conditions. Steam engines demanded constant lubrication, and the accepted method was to stop, cool the engine, apply oil by hand, and then start again, which created delays, overheating, breakdowns, and accidents when crews pushed beyond safe intervals. Everyone understood that lubrication limited speed and reliability, but no one had solved how to keep oil flowing precisely at full operation. McCoy realized that the problem was not the oil itself, but the control of flow, and that if you could meter tiny drops to the hottest moving parts while the engine ran, you could reduce friction and heat without stopping. That shift, treating lubrication as a system rather than a chore, became his breakthrough. In 1872, McCoy patented an automatic lubricator, often called an oil drip cup or lubricating cup, that mounted to the engine and used pressure and gravity to feed measured drops of oil to bearings and cylinders as they moved. Later versions introduced clear sight feeds so operators could see the drip rate, adjustable valves for different speeds, and distribution lines that carried oil to multiple points from a single reservoir. The result was continuous lubrication at speed, lower friction and heat, fewer seizures, longer intervals between stops, and standardized adjustment methods that crews could quickly learn. Railroads adopted McCoy's approach across fleets, and the principle spread to factory lines. Marine engines, mining equipment, and later internal combustion machines. Continuous lubrication improved fuel efficiency, extended component life, reduced accidents from overheated parts, and increased throughput because machines paused less. Over several decades, McCoy filed many related patents to refine metering, materials, and distribution as engines became heavier and faster. Because racism constrained hiring and financing, McCoy often licensed his designs to established firms, which allowed the technology to spread even when he could not run a large manufacturer. And later he founded the Elijah McCoy Manufacturing Company in Detroit to produce his own devices and assert ownership. The path shows both the limits he faced and the entrepreneurial moves he used to overcome them. The phrase, "the real McCoy," has multiple possible origins in earlier dialects, and scholars debate whether it came directly from Elijah's device. But what is not debated is that railroad foremen asked for his system by name because it worked, and his reputation for reliability became part of industrial culture. McCoy's 1872 United States patent established the design, with subsequent improvements, documented in trade journals and railroad manuals that made sight feed and automatic oilers standard equipment by the late 19th century. The paper trail shows how an idea moved from one man's insight to an industry norm. Every modern machine with precision, oil delivery echoes McCoy's principle of getting the right amount of lubrication to the right part at the right time without stopping. He elevated maintenance into systems engineering, and his work helped push an industrializing world toward greater reliability and scale. That is not myth. That is measurable progress. If you want more source-driven stories of Black innovation, subscribe to 400+, comment with the inventor you want next, and check the description for patents and archives used in this episode.